Gymnastics is a sport that involves a combination of physical strength, flexibility, agility, coordination, balance, and grace. It is practiced by both men and women and involves various exercises and routines that are performed on different apparatuses, such as the floor, balance beam, vault, and even bars and rings. Gymnastics can be divided into main categories: artistic gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics.
Rhythmic gymnastics is a sport that combines elements of gymnastics, dance, and apparatus manipulation. It involves the use of various handheld apparatuses such as rope, hoop, bull, clubs, or ribbon, which the gymnast manipulates in time with the music and choreography. Rhythmic gymnasts perform individually or in groups and are judged on their technical skills, artistic expression, and overall performance. They must demonstrate flexibility, strength, coordination, and grace as they perform various acrobatic and dance movements with their chosen apparatus. Rhythmic gymnastics is a popular sport around the world. It is particularly well known in Europe and Asia. It has been Olympic sport for women since 1984, and competitions are held at various levels, including national, international, and Olympic.
There are two main kinds of arithmetic gymnastics. Individual arithmetic gymnastics. This where a single gymnast performs a routine with one or more apparatuses. The gymnast is judged on her technique, creativity, and execution. Group arithmetic gymnastics. This is where a team of gymnasts perform a routine together with one or more apparatuses. The group is judged on their synchronization, artistic impression, and technical execution. In addition to these two main categories, there are different types of apparatuses used in arithmetic gymnastics. These include rope. A rope is usually made of hemp or synthetic material. Is used for swing, circles, and spirals. Hoop. A plastic or wooden hoop is used for tosses, rolls, and spins. Ball. A rubber ball or plastic ball is used for bouncing, throwing, and catching. Clubs. Wooden or plastic clubs are used for throws, catches, and swings. Ribbon. A ribbon attached to a stick is used for twirls, spirals, and throws. In competition, arithmetic gymnasts can choose to perform with one or more of these apparatuses, and the music and routine are tolerated to the chosen apparatus.
In physical education, the term stance typically refers to the position of the body, particularly the feet, in relation to an activity or movement. A proper stance can help to provide a stable base of support for movement and can also help to ensure proper alignment of the body. In many sports and physical activities such as basketball, tennis, or golf, a proper stance is crucial for success. The stance will vary depending on the activity but generally involves placing the feet in a position that provides balance and stability while allowing for movement in a particular direction. For example, in basketball, a good stance might involve placing the feet shoulder width apart with the knees slightly bent and weight evenly distributed on both feet. While in the tennis, a good stance might involve a wider base with the feet positioned diagonally to allow the greater mobility. In addition to sport-specific stances, physical education may also focus on more general stances such as the athletic stance or ready stance, which can be used in variety of activities. This stance typically involves placing the feet shoulder width apart, bending the knees slightly, and positioning the body in a way that allows for quick movement and reaction to changing situation.
In physical education, an individual stance refers to a position or posture that a person assumes while performing a physical activity or exercise. This stance is specific to each individual and is determined by their body type, fitness level, and the requirements of the activity they are performing. In some physical activities such as weightlifting or gymnastics, the individual stance can significantly affect the performing of the exercise. For example, the position of the feet, the grip on the equipment, and the alignment of the body can all impact the amount of weight lifted or level of difficulty of the exercise. In physical education, Teachers may focus on teaching proper individual stance to ensure that students are performing exercise safely and effectively. Students are encouraged to develop their own individual stance by experimenting with different positions and adjusting their stance based on feedback from their teacher or coach. By developing a proper individual stance, students can improve their performance and reduce the risk of injury during physical activities.
There are several kinds of individual stances in physical education, and they can vary depending on the type of physical activity or exercise being performed. Here are some examples. Standing stance. This is a basic stance used for activities such as running, jumping, and throwing. The feet are shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, and arms relaxed at the sides. Athletic stance. This stance is used for activities that require quick changes of direction, such as basketball or soccer. The feet are wider than shoulder width apart. Knees are bent and the weight is evenly distributed on both feet. Squat stance. This stance is used for activities that require bending at knees and hips, such as squats or deadlifts. The feet are shoulder width apart, knees are bent, and the hips are pushed back. Lunge stance. This stance is used for activities that require stepping forward or backward, such as lunges or split squats. One foot is placed forward, knee bent, and the other foot is placed back, with the knee also bent. Bridge stance. This stance is used for activities that requires bridging, such as glute bridges or hip thrust. The feet are hip width apart, knees are bent, and the hips are lifted off the ground. Plank stance. This stance is used for activities that require holding a static position, such as planks or push-ups. The body is in straight line from head to heels, with the hands or forearms on the ground and the feet shoulder width apart.
Dual stance is a term used in physical education to describe a stance in which a person's weight is evenly distributed on both feet. This stance is also known as neutral stance or a balanced stance. In dual stance, a person stands with their feet shoulder width apart, their knees slightly bent, and their weight distributed evenly on both feet. This stance provides a stable base from which a person can perform various movements and exercises such as squats, lunge, and jumps. Dual stance is an important foundation for many physical activities and sports, as it helps to improve balance, stability, and coordination. It is also a safe, effective way to engage the lower body muscles, including the quadriceps, glutes, and calves. Dual stance is often emphasized in physical education programs, especially for beginners who are learning proper form and techniques.
In physical education, there are several kinds of dual stance, which refers to a stance where the athlete or participant stands with both feet on the ground. Here are some examples. Parallel stance. This is where both feet are pointed straight ahead, with the heels and toes in line. Open stance. This is where the feet are turned outwards, with the toes pointing away from each other. Closed stance. This is where the feet are turned inwards, with the toes pointing towards each other. Lateral stance. This is where the feet are shoulder width apart, with one foot slightly in front of the other. Straddle stance. This is where the feet are wide apart, with the toes pointing outward. Cross-leg stance. This is where one leg is crossed in front of the other. These different stances can be used for various activities in physical education, such as for balance, stability, and agility exercises. They are also used in different sports and activities, such as martial arts, dance, and yoga.
In physical education, group stance refers to the arrangement of students or participants in a physical activity or exercise class. It involves positioning students in a way that allows them to perform the activity effectively, safely, and efficiently, while also promoting a sense of unity and cooperation among the group. Group stance can be important in activities such as team sports, dance classes, and martial arts where participants need to work together in close proximity to achieve common goal. The placement of students in relation to each other, as well as their distance from the instructor or coach, can affect the success of activity and learning outcomes. Physical educators may use various techniques to establish group stance, such as forming circles, lines, or clusters of students, and adjusting the spacing and positioning of participants based on activity being performed. They may also encourage students to communicate and cooperate with each other, which can help create a positive and supportive learning environment.
In physical education, there are different kinds of group stance or formations that can be used to organize students and facilitate learning. Here are some common group stance: individual stance, pair stance, small group stance, large group stance, circle stance. Individual stance: in this stance, each student stands on their own and performs exercises or movement independently. This can be useful for activities such as stretching or individual skill drills. Pair stance: in this stance, students work in pairs to practice specific movements or techniques. This can be useful for activities such as partner stretching or practicing pairing techniques and martial art. Small group stance: in this stance, students work in small group of 3 to 6 people to perform specific activities or exercises. This can be useful for activities such as relay race or group games that require coordination and teamwork. Large group stance: in this stance, the entire class work together to perform activities or exercises. This can be useful for activities such as group calisthenics or large-scale games that require cooperation and communication. Circle stance: in this stance, students stand in a circle and perform exercises or activities together. This can be useful for activities such as stretching or warm-up games that require everyone to be involved. The choice of group stance will depend on the specific activities or learning objective, as well as the number and skill level of the students. It's important for physical education teachers to be familiar with a range of group stance and to use them appropriately to promote student learning and engagement.